Hey everybody, welcome back, Frogs and Toads. I mean, if you were here last week, then you saw it's not just music and prompts anymore. I'm a real full guy who talks. So feel free to drop a comment in the chat. I'm taking some calls if you want to come join the live stream. Tonight we are doing a lesson. We're gonna try our best to learn as much as we can about how to do still life paintings. I am not a teacher. I'm not a professional artist in the sense that I know what I'm doing. I'm just a guy who likes to throw some paint around and try some experiments, and we're gonna do just that tonight. So if it doesn't turn out perfect, it's gonna turn out some way, and that's pretty perfect to me. Okay, I'm gonna get started. I printed a lesson off of the internet, so we have what to do and what to try. No pressure, no expectations, have fun. Let's try our best to learn one thing. I don't think that's too much to ask. Let's try our best to learn one thing. I'm gonna start by collecting the materials that I will need. So, to start off, we need a surface like a canvas board, or a heavy-duty watercolor paper. So we're getting our surface. You could use a canvas board, you could paint on a skateboard, you could use your grandmother's back, whatever you got at your disposal. I'm going with this recycled paper that I get from this like 300-year-old man who lives in a dungeon by me. Very cool guy. Last time I went there, I like stayed for hours and he showed me how it's done. We made paper together. Okay, we need some paint. You could use acrylic paint or oil paint. Let's just go with primary colors, and I think it says plus white and black. So let's go with red, blue, and yellow. Okay, we've got our paint. Brushes, a mix of sizes: small round brush, medium flat brush, and large flat brush. Flatbrush, New York. A palette for mixing colors. You could use a paper plate, a plastic palette. Yeah, I've got one of these from the dollar store, all lined up. Get water or solvent. Let me grab a water, check. Rags or paper towel. We've got a roll of paper towel right here. An easel or a sturdy surface. We're gonna do it on this here art table. And a practice objects. So simple items like a single apple, a sphere, or a mug. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. What are we going to try and paint on our still life painting? What do I got that's a simple item? So for starters, I'm gonna use this here big boy Stanley mug. It's full of water. Let's get in two more. Let's get this homemade candle that I made in a thrifted mug. And then finally, let's go crazy. Let's do this can of Four Loko. The original stuff, 12%er from a decade ago. I feel like if I drank that now, it would kill me. And lighting, a lamp to create a strong shadow or highlights. Okay, I'll use my phone for that. You could do the same. Warm up. You guys, okay, are we ready? We've got our equipment, we've got our surface, we've got our paints, we've got our brushes, we've got our palette, our water, paper towel, a sturdy surface, some practice objects that we're gonna try painting, and we're gonna use our phone for lighting to create some shadows. Let's go, before I jump into the warm-up, I prepared, you can see over here, this is the idea. These are the ideas. I filled it with ideas. Let's pick one out. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna save that for later when someone calls in. Stay tuned, we'll get to that topic in a moment. For now, let's start the lesson. So we're gonna start our practice with observation and a little mini study. Number one, draw basic shapes. Take a scrap piece of paper and sketch basic geometric shapes that match the objects you'll be painting. So for example, if you have an apple, it becomes a sphere, a mug becomes a cylinder with an attached handle. So our first shape, we got kind of a rectangle and with a handle. It's kind of it. Our second shape is a big one, kind of on top of a little one with a handle. All the best things in life come with a handle. And then finally, our third shape is another kind of cylinder, but this one's a tall boy. Okay, practice shading these shapes using light and shadow. This helps train your eye to see form and value. It looks darker around here, that's for sure. it looks like there's a bit of a line in it, and then there looks like the candle is kind of... If anyone watching knows anything about shading and color and shadows, please feel free to chime in. It looks like something. That looks like we did something. Okay, let's try it on the Stanley. It's crazy that there's 3 main types of Stanley cups now. There's the Stanley Cup that TikTokers drink from. There's the Stanley Cup, the hockey trophy. And then there's the Stanley Cup, Stanley's favorite cup. Let's see, where are there shadows on this sucker? I guess there's a brim that we could add some texture to. And I mean, it's all like, I'm gonna try shining a light in different directions because it's too well lit in here. There's no shadows on anything. So let's turn the camera on. I just looked at my phone, never mind. Oh yeah, now we're making shadows happen. Seems to me like these are the main shadows from this angle. I think everything I know about shading and shadows has been 100% just like pure trial and error guessing. Never really, learning for real. I think that's a good way to do it. Okay, and then finally, do the Four Loko can. So again, the shadows come from the sides, kind of taper because it hits it in the middle. And let's do this. Okay, I think, look, we're doing something here. Number 2, we're gonna paint a grayscale study. So we're gonna choose an object from our arrangement. Let's do the Stanley Cup. Let's focus on this one. Use only black, white, and gray paint to create a value study. Focus on the lightest lights, darkest shadows, and the range of grays in between. This will teach you how light interacts with form, which is essential for realistic paintings. Let's start by making some gray. I also, while I don't happen to know much about still life painting, I also don't know much about mixing colors. I find there's too much teaching content. I look online and everyone's teaching you something and showing you, here's how to do this. I hope you guys are down to learn with me. Because I'm not teaching, I'm learning, and we're gonna learn together. It's the goal here. Hopefully. Or at the very least, we shoot for learn, we land on have fun. That's usually how it goes. It looks like we're getting a call. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. I love you've got like a whole setup going.
Yeah, I'm ready. I have my water, because you said paint. So I have I got like my whole art box here. And then I got paper, I got pencil crayons, I got my vape.
Do you know anything at all about still life painting?
I took an art class in grade 7.
Okay, so you're all of a sudden in charge now. We're doing this Stanley Cup. Although, should I change it to this Four Loko can?
I've never actually had a Four Loko, but I've also never drank out of a Stanley Cup.
Wow.
So they're the Four Loko can.
Okay. What else haven't you had?
Probably a lot.
Oh, I've got a good one.
What have you never done?
You're not gonna believe me.
Really?
I've never chewed gum. I know.
Really?
Yeah, really.
No way.
I've never had gum.
There's no way you've never had gum.
I know.
Like when you were a kid and kids were like, "Do you want a piece of gum?" You just said.
So when I was a kid, I had gum was disgusting. If I saw gum, I would literally gag. I can be around it now, but that's why I've never had it.
I'm surprised, but then when I think about how I know you, I'm actually like, well, I feel like that checks out.
I feel like gum is made out of the same thing erasers are made out of, and I don't know what it is.
I don't know, that one's not.
I had a good question.
Lay it on me. What's
your prediction? Or do you have any inkling for how you'll die?
That's actually such a great question.
Thanks.
Because that's changed throughout my life. What's actually kind of stayed I hate saying it too. I hate actually speaking the words of it because it's I'm big on manifestation and I don't want to die like this.
Yeah.
But it's when I think about it, I've always thought that I'm gonna be murdered.
Really?
Yeah. Either in I have a lot of anxiety in big groups. When I get groups specifically when I'm in the metro and the metro is sardines. I really don't like it. Because I'm like, oh, I mean, we're exposed to so many like mass tragedies and things like that. So I used to be like, I'm gonna like a school shooting or something. Like, not that I would live in Canada, like that's not a thing that happens here. But I've always thought I'm gonna be murdered.
But specifically involved in like some sort of tragedy, not just someone targeting you.
I think I went through like 8 different sentences in my brain there. Because when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, it's gonna be a mass tragedy. Like when I was younger, I was like, it's gonna be like a car accident, a shooting, a bomb or something like that. And then as I've gotten older, now it's just more, I think it's become more targeted as I've gotten older. Like when I was younger, it was like, well, they're not going to be trying to kill specifically me.
Right.
And now I'm like, no, I think someone's gonna.
They might.
So there's like the layover from like the anxiety, but then I'm like, no, yeah, I think someone's gonna.
Interesting.
I hope not, though. I'd like to have a countdown.
Ooh.
Like I would like to know like a couple weeks before.
Really?
Yeah. I have so many people to tell that I love them, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like you do a good job at just doing that.
Yeah, but it's never enough.
It's never enough.
It's never enough, Tyler.
That's the tragic and beautiful
Never
thing.
say it enough. I want to ask the question right back. How do you think you're going to die?
So I'm pretty confident that I am going to be curious about the wrong thing. And I'm going to like hear a noise in a bush and then, oops, it's a snake or like something like that. Or like, what's that over there? And I just wander into the worst situation.
That feels so optimistic.
I mean, I think I've prepped myself for the moment where I'm just gonna be like, I fucked up and like accept it.
Yeah.
I think that'll happen.
Yeah.
I think I will fuck up at some point and feel that sort of, I think it's gonna feel like a relief, just be like, well, looks like I fucked it. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
feel like
when
having that moment of acceptance would be really nice.
yeah, when you mess something up real bad and it's kind of just like a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this was supposed to happen. Where you're kind of like, this is what I get. Like that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Have you been drawing this whole time? I just realized.
I'm kind of just painting this can while we chat.
Okay. Well, I actually have this. Like, do you want to see what I have for
Yes.
my inspiration? I have this boob mug.
Wow, I love that.
And I put flowers and like pencils and stuff. Like I use it as like a pencil holder.
Cool.
But there's a lot of dimensions there, and I'm like,
So you're gonna try and paint that?
maybe.
Expert mode off the bat.
Or I could just like I could do the vape, but I have like a candle.
It works
Everything
too.
How do you make something 3D?
Yeah, I think so. The key here is like picking a pretty simple item because we're just like practicing shapes and tones and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to like shine a light or something on it so that it picks up different shadows. No pressure if you don't have that. Like I have my phone on this. I don't know if you can see like here. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die by just being in the wrong place at the wrong time and like checking something out that I shouldn't. I'm gonna like wander into a back alley where a drug deal's going down and be like, hey fellas, what's going on here?
How you doing, guys?
Yeah. What the heck is this?
Yeah. Actually, I think I like that. It could really be any time.
Yeah.
For any way to die, it could be. But that one feels really like, that's very seize the day.
I have very few fears in life, but one of my few fears is like deep waters where I can't see what's underneath me or like what's coming up underneath me. And
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I've thought a lot about like why I'm so, I don't know, like scared of that. And I know it's relatively common, but there's got to be like a reason. And I think it's because I just don't want to die a fool. I don't want to be taken for surprise. I want to die face to face with something.
Like you don't want something to grab you from underneath and
Yeah,
you're like,
I don't want to be taken by surprise. I want to be a fair fight, and whatever kills me, I'm gonna kill it.
yeah. Do you think if you were like, would you fight for your life?
Yeah, I think I take out whatever takes me out.
Yeah. That's something I think about quite often. I'm like, would I? I feel like it depends on what day they caught me on.
Yeah, if it's before work or after work.
Exactly. Are we talking like Thursday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Tuesday, take me out.
You mentioned before when we were just chatting before going live that you have like a whole arts and crafts toolkit. I'm so curious what's in the toolkit.
Yeah, I have like a whole box. It's like a craft box, but it's just kind of where everything has gone. Because I used to do embroidery. That was my COVID craft.
Cool.
I embroidered cards, which was really fun. So I did like paper embroidery,
Nice.
which is really, really epic. Really
Yeah.
fun. I did a lot of I used to do realistic like nugs, like weed. Like I would embroider weed nugs on like the little hoop things, and like I sold them. Like people bought them and stuff, and I did like it was really fun. Like I made my hobby during COVID lucrative. So some of the stuff in here is like leftovers from that. So I have like a box of cards. I have like a box of thread and this beautiful fabric.
Ooh.
I don't even know when I bought it. But I have like a lot of, so it's a lot of like embroidery thread, which is really.
Are you embroidering at all these days?
No.
Dude, you got to embroider.
No, I haven't embroidered in, I think I made some Christmas cards last year.
Nice.
Did I?
I don't know.
It's been a minute. It's really been a minute. And it's actually something that I've been thinking about recently is like getting back into embroidery.
Well, we're going to try with paints now. So that's the point where we're at. It says color mixing practice. On your palette, practice mixing colors similar to those in your still life. For example, mix red with a touch of yellow to match the apple. It's assuming that I'm going with an apple, and I'm not. Paint small swatches to see how the colors look on your surface.
All my colors are the same. I picked like there's like pink and pink and pink, but they're all different shades of pink. So
that's pretty cool. If you go like all pink but different shades, that's a really good way to depict shades and tones. Stick with one color. I think. Again, I don't know. For some reason, I can only make like puke green.
And like my colors are so off from each other. I have like a hot pink and then I have like this really nice coral, and I'm like, neither of those are the right color.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we should have started with the color theory episode.
Well, you know what?
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, I'm kind of just adding, because this can is camouflage, I'm kind of just adding like swatches of color. And then I think what I'm going to try and do is like add more shading to it after. But I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do or not. We're just going to try that.
Yeah. Well, I think, is there really rules?
Literally no.
When people study this in school.
Then yes. I'm saying here, no. I'm a big believer that as long as you live your life with the notion that you should never intentionally make anyone's day shittier, you should never do anything that you know impacts someone negatively. Outside of that, I think you're pretty much fine.
Yeah, I think that's like a good, I feel like that's like a religion's bullshit.
We'll get to that one day.
Yeah. It goes from art creative club to religion. Just don't be dicks.
Man, I had this idea that I wanted to do a while ago, and who knows, maybe it'll come to fruition now. But I had it all mapped out. I had written it and planned it where I wanted to do 2 simultaneous, like, parallel projects. One, you know that notion of like building in public? Like an entrepreneur will like start a company but make content out of the day-to-day running of a company and how to get it started and what I'm doing on it. Here's my schedule. Like being transparent about building something.
Right.
The notion of building in public. So I really want to do that, but the thing that I want to build publicly is a cult. And I think on one side of it, like I would have social profiles and a website and everything, and it could start out as like a wellness brand, and the more people I attract, it slowly becomes like you can't talk to your family. And I got to develop like a crazy God complex and like make a bunch of outrageous claims. And I have this whole thing mapped out like in 3 acts, but I don't do it because I can't think of an ending other than like I die or go to jail. So
that's unfortunately how most of them end.
Exactly.
Like, would you be starting like an intentional cult? Like,
yeah,
you're
like
not
I
starting
think
a cult to like kill people and like take their money.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think the beauty of what I want to do is actually act it out on this side of things, but then on my personal profiles, document it all transparently. Like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, this is how I'm trying to do it. And then on the other side of things, like, do it the sneaky cultish way, but show every step of the way. You
know who I think would really fuck with that?
Who?
It would be like Nathan For You.
Dude, okay, so I've pitched this concept to a couple different platforms and shit.
Yeah.
And the feedback I got was like, we like the idea, but we just can never like legally be liable for something like this. And I straight up was like, Nathan Fielder, Asha Baron Cohen, like there's people who could do this. And the response was like, yeah, they can.
Yeah, go ask them. Go with them. Okay.
Like, so I'm going to shift gears now and get into the still life painting. I have my 3 items lined up together with a light on it. You should choose 3 items, simple objects that vary in size, shape, and texture. For example, a shiny red apple, a ceramic mug, and a leafy plant. Arrange the objects on a table, overlapping slightly for depth to ensure each one is visible. Position a lamp or a light source to one side as such to create clear highlights and shadows. So now we start with a sketch. We're going to sketch out our composition. Okay. Lightly sketch your arrangement onto the canvas using a pencil or a thin brush with a watered down paint. Break objects into basic shapes and focus on proportions and placement. Don't worry about small details. Shadows are crazy. When you really start like paying attention, yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, this doesn't look right at all.
That's fine. It's something.
I know, but it's also like when this might be really, like I'm looking at it, but then if I move a little bit, it's different, right?
What do you mean?
Such a ridiculous thought. Because like when I'm looking at this like head on, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is what it looks like. But then if I go like a little bit to the side, it changes.
Yeah, for sure.
My God, I'm just like I have to sit the same.
It's the hardest part of art.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna stick to art with words.
Do you have like what's like your favorite type of art as a viewer?
As a viewer?
Yeah, not to create. What do you like to look at?
To look at. Because like my immediate is music, like that's where I go, but not necessarily like music. Like I'm a big music, like that's my big like love music.
Music.
Yeah.
Cool.
But when you say like watch, that's why I'm kind of like, well, because I'm such a victim of like the TikTok that my attention span is kind of fried. But I've been watching actually with a friend. We've been hanging out just like watching movies. And like last weekend or a couple weekends ago, he spent the night on my couch. We spent probably like close to 24 hours, and we watched like 9 movies.
Oh.
Yeah, and because Amazon has an autoplay option, so if you like fall asleep or you just keep going, it's gonna just autoplay a movie similar to something you just watched. So if you start with like a really good movie, it only gives you good movies. So it was actually pretty cool. So like I would say I love going to the movie theater. Like I love like being shown this big thing with like all the moving parts behind it. But I love like those weird modern art museums too. Like the ones where you go in and it's like a chair in the middle of the floor.
Yeah. How do you feel about the art that's like it's a blank canvas and there's a dot on it?
Stunning.
Or the banana duct tape to the wall.
Oh yeah, that's I think it's hilarious. Like as a comedian, I cannot look at that any other way. Like the only thing I see from that is that like this person is laughing at you. Like I see that I'm like the artist is laughing because you have these people who are always gonna be like, this is the most beautiful thing, and the artist is like, no, it's a banana taped to the wall.
Yeah. I think comedians and artists, the goal is to just be in on the bit.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
So I'm starting with just the background.
You're doing a background?
Yeah, that's what it said to do, is fill in the background first. So I'm just doing a plain gray, like a neutral color. Zach Kick says, my canvas is my walls, my tools are my fist, and my art is holes in drywall.
Zach, you gotta talk to someone about that, man.
Yeah, the landlord. Now, block in the base color of each object. So for example, red for the apple, white for the mug, green for the plant. Don't worry about blending, just cover the canvas. I think it's in the description, but if not, I'll put it there. If you or anyone watching wants to send me a letter or an artwork, I set up a P.O. box. If you send me something, I'll send you something back. If you write me a letter, I'll write you one back. If you send me art, I'll send you art back. So there's a P.O. box in the description if you want to be pen pals.
That's so cute, like a modern day Santa.
Yeah. How is the show going? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Zach's like live texting me too, so I also, if I know he's watching, I'm like, hi Zach, I'm getting back to you. Yeah, it's really good actually. Zach said something the other day that really kind of helped reshape my like some of my like crises. As you have, like obviously when you're making something, it's just like
of course
crisis after crisis.
Yeah. It's all about the breakdowns.
Yeah. And so Zach had pretty much just said, he was like, well, it's just proof of concept right now.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, it doesn't matter that we're posting a Christmas episode at the end of January. Like, it's just proof of, because we had like, we're gonna start filming in February, like, and we're like, the content plan is coming along, and like things are progressing, and it's like shaping up. I have a lot of confidence. But like, so for it's just been in this like kind of weird window of like, it's real and it exists, but it's not real yet, and it's still, you know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, I think I'm in a very similar boat in the sense that like we're experimenting. We've started, we're in the game, but yeah, we're figuring out how to play. That's a necessary part of it.
Totally, yeah.
But I think, yeah, kudos. I think like just being in the game is the important part. Like you're already a step ahead. We're gonna add shadows and highlights. So it says mix a darker shade of each base color by adding a bit of black or blue. Use this to paint shadows where light doesn't reach. For example, on the apple, darken the areas opposite the light source. On the mug, add shadow inside on the far side. It says mix a lighter shade. We'll do that after. First, we'll do darker shades. Darker shades.
My paint palette is an absolute shit show.
Yeah, how are the pinks looking?
What pinks? Because I don't have any pink anymore. I don't know where they went. Because the pink was in like the candle holder and the boobs. So now we have a plant, a vape, and a white box.
How's it looking?
You want to see?
Yeah, I do. Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
We're learning.
Yeah.
We're learning here.
We're doing something. Oh, fuck.
What's up?
I made a happy mistake.
Good. Good.
I put green right on top of the white. That's okay. How long do we add shadows for? Because I don't know how many more shadows I got.
But then we got to do the lighter shades after. After we do dark dancache, we do light cache.
Okay, perfect. I've got that. There's some lighter shades in here. Oh, I missed some stuff. Okay.
This is starting to look like something. So we're moving on to refining details. Use a small round brush to add fine details like the apple's stem, the mug's rim, or veins on the leaves. I accidentally already did those things.
Oh, did you?
Well, it says, okay, blend edges between shadows, highlights, and midtones for a smooth, realistic effect. And finally, add reflected light where objects influence with each other. For example, a bit of green on the apple if it's near the plant. Okay, that makes sense. So add a little hint of the color next to it to give...
Does it make sense?
I think so. So like if you have a green thing next to a pink thing, put a bit of green on the pink, you know?
Oh, okay.
Because that's how light works.
Oh.
See, we're learning.
School day. Every day is a school day.
Yes, so...
Okay. I had, well, how old were you when you were doing Epic Mealtime?
I was age 20 till like 24-ish.
That's a great age to be.
Yes and no. I think, yeah, it was cool.
Do you think that there's another time, like, would there be a better time that another age that you would rather do that? Like, if you had to choose an age to be...
No, like I was young and dumb and in the Hollywood Hills, going to celebrity parties and shit. Like, it was a good time for it. I think now 36-year-old Tyler would dread that lifestyle.
Vegan Tyler.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I don't think it's built for me now. But I think the most valuable thing it did for me, to be honest, not to get too real, but I think the fact that I got online success early on, and look, I've been chasing that ever since. I've done 100 other projects to varying degrees of success and failure. And I think starting with that really enabled me and validated me to like, it's the number of darts you throw, you're eventually gonna hit a bullseye, it's an odds game. I think a lot of people who haven't felt that sort of success feel like it's not attainable or impossible. And that's just false. So I'm very grateful that I experienced it early. Didn't really get to take much with me or make much from it, but it gave me such a like confidence moving forward that I think's really served me.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you have like a different sense of clarity when you're looking at how.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite smell?
Probably like fire, like wood burning.
Yeah.
A good cedar. I would probably go with that. What about you?
Well, it's funny because I just blew out my candle, and it's like one of those like wooden wick.
Oh, I love that.
Really good. Yeah. I like the fresh cut grass.
Ooh. Interesting. Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you pro or against gasoline?
No. I've never been a gasoline.
Really?
Yeah. No.
I like a gasoline smell. Okay, our next step. By the way, there's 7 steps and we're on there's 8 steps and we're on step 6 now.
we're
So we have
crushing
3
it.
more to go. Now
Okay.
we're going to adjust the background and foreground. So paint shadows cast by objects onto the table using a watered down neutral color. Shadows should be darker near the object and fade as they extend outwards. Add subtle textures or gradients to the background to create depth. So we're going to make dark shadow. Darker shadow underneath our objects. That makes sense?
Yeah. Yes, and absolutely not. Same time. But I understand like the idea of like adding darker colors, because when you said also like at the one, if you have something green in front of it, add the colors on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh right, I remembered what that meant.
You know, I never like considered myself an artistic guy until like relatively recently. And then I went back and saw that like I have so many like awards of merit and certificates and shit from high school and elementary school. Like the only thing I was good at was art class, and yet I never once considered myself like an art guy.
What was it that made that shift in your brain and your thinking?
Well, I really started maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. 6, 7 years ago now. I started just like painting to relax and unwind after like long days of working. I was doing a lot of copywriting and joke writing and stuff.
Right.
And I would just paint to unwind. And that sort of just triggered this like, oh shit, like this is actually what I love doing and really enjoy.
Did you ever like? Was there any struggle for you to like accept the creativity?
The creativity less so, but to literally call myself an artist probably took like 4 years of like getting myself comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It felt like a very reserved title that I didn't earn.
I have a quick art question.
Yeah.
When they said blend,
Yeah.
like blend these things together, mine's already like dry.
Cool.
So how do you blend dry paint?
No clue. Just like smudge it, I think.
Tyler, I need you to understand that I just now like see the shadow on my table. Like I now have like made the connection. Like that's what I'm trying to get on here.
Well, better late than never. We're only
That's
17
like-
minutes over time.
Oh my god. Hang up on me.
Oh, I'm glad we finally got there.
Yo, I'm here.
Okay, that seemed to have helped, I think. All right, let's move on to step 7.
Let's go.
Oh, this one sounds easy. Evaluate and final touches. So step back and view your painting from a distance to spot any areas that need adjustment, add final highlights, refine details, and make any corrections to proportions or color. So when you take a step back and look at your painting, how does it look? What do you see? I think I have to add a bit more to the straw.
You know what? She looks great.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
You know what? I didn't do a terrible job.
I think same. I kind of like this.
I'm like, ooh, that's actually so cute. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I do have a few, I'm like, should I light the vape up, you know, like so you can see like,
Ooh.
because this one's like good.
I think at least I'm gonna wrap this up, and I always say the only difference between a picture and an artwork is the signature. So that's our final step.
Let's go.
How's your Siggy?
I did this with Raji yesterday. I hate my signature.
Really?
Yeah, and like it's something I'm so insecure about it.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Let's work on it.
But like it's like how do you just sit in my notebook at the end of the night just writing my name over and over again like
Like a psychopath.
Yeah, come on. I can't do that. And it's also like it works, you know, like there's an S and there's a W and you know it's a name.
So I've developed like an artist signature where I do Dr. Lemco, and it kind of looks like that. I don't know if you could see. Okay, finally it says.
This looks so good.
Thank you. It says, tips for success. Warm up every time you paint. It's like stretching before exercise. Take breaks to avoid overworking an area. And mistakes are learning opportunities. Don't stress it. Wow. What does it say?
It says paint gem because that's like what's on the box.
Cool. I should add the little, that inspired me to add the little Stanley logo.
Oh yeah.
Gotta add the Stan. Let's put that here.
You're so quick.
I mean, I just make a mess, that's all.
Honestly, like I'm so blown away by yours.
Ditto. Good work, Sarah.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks so much for hanging out. So much fun, as always.
Such a fun hang.
Plug your show.
Hell yeah, My Dead Mom's Cookbook. Second episode comes out tomorrow. So I'm doing a cooking comedy show where guests come on, comedians, and maybe some chefs, and some people come on and we cook one of my mom's recipes and talk about grief, and we have a lot of fun. Sometimes we shotgun beers.
Yeah, Sarah and I did a pilot that you'll unfortunately never see. I think because I was too sweaty. I don't know the reason, but
we'll see some of it.
Cool. Yeah, so much fun. I can't wait to see the new episodes as they come out and as this project evolves. I'm such a fan of it.
Thanks so much. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it.
Hell yeah. Check that out. Sarah, thanks for joining us. What's that?
I made a little, I also made this tonight. It's like a little, was supposed to be, yeah, but the nipple and the boob.
No, I clocked boob right away. Perfect. Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Matt. Thank you so much.
We've got our still life painting, sort of. I think it actually turned out pretty good. I think we definitely learned a few things. By the way, I put a bunch of work in this weekend and I finally set up Dr. Lemco's Creative Club as like an actual platform online. So you can go to drlem.co, drlem.co, and you can see a full calendar of upcoming events. There's also, I made a separate calendar for these live streams. So if you want notifications and reminders of upcoming streams, you could sign up for that as well. You could also do Luma, lu.ma/thedoctorsin to see upcoming live streams, and drlem.co to join Creative Club meetings. That's all for this week, Frogs and Toads. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. I feel like when you say as always, you need like a recurring thing that you say, but I simply don't have that. So as always, goodbye.